Hi everyone, it's Heidi here from Costume Co. back with another live stream. Sorry I'm a little bit late. I was having a few tech issues. But anyway, I'm so thrilled today that I have on this amazing cosplayer and costumer and sorry, I'm getting some feedback here. And artist as well. It's Natasha Bieberfeld. Natasha, am I saying that correctly?
Yes, you are. That's good.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. I've been wanting to have you on for a long time, and we finally were able to make it work. I'm so happy you're here.
Thanks for having me.
So I just want to, why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into cosplay? You've got an amazing Facebook page and Instagram and quite a big following, actually. So just let me know a little bit about yourself and how you got into cosplay.
So I am from southeastern Pennsylvania in the United States, so in the Philly suburbs area. And I apologize if you hear any background noise. The windows are open. So I've been costuming for about 16 years. I started when I was 19. So I guess I got started because I read about a Star Wars convention, Star Wars celebration, that was going to be happening in May, I think April of 2002. And I wanted to go to it. And my brother wanted to go with me. And he was 16 and I was 19. And we decided to get on a plane and go to this convention in Indianapolis together, just as teenagers. And I worked on a handmaiden costume, world's worst handmaiden costume from episode 1. And my brother went into a store-bought Chewbacca costume. We had the time of our lives. Our costumes were terrible. It was so fun, though. I got so inspired by all the amazing costumers that I saw there and met there. And I was like, I got to do this. I got to get into this more. So I made friends with some people. They invited me to Dragon Con that year. I got to experience a lot more costuming then, and I joined like a Star Wars charity group. I got really involved, and I started making costumes. But I was going to school for theater production in college at the time, and I didn't feel like they were emphasizing the costume part of it enough. So I had to learn a lot on my own through trial and error, learning how to sew. It's a lot easier now because you have so many more sewing tutorials on YouTube and information available. And it was really hard then. And fabric was really hard to find that was good. And there's just so many options now. I'm really jealous of people who are learning to costume now because there's just a lot more resources than there used to be. But yeah. It made us resourceful.
No, absolutely. Because even when I was going to school, we didn't have the internet. Like we had, it was just the beginnings of the internet. So now there's online shopping and there's so much more. You can do research online. We didn't have that back then.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I met my boyfriend at the time, who's my husband now, in college. And we would do things like we built Boba Fett armor in his dorm. We would spray paint out on the balcony, the fire escape balcony. We would do crazy stuff just making costumes back then. It was fun. So come a long way since then.
That's amazing. So how many years has it been then that you've been?
16 years.
16. That's amazing.
But I mean, I was always a kid who played dress up. And oh boy.
Uh-oh.
Sorry.
Uh-oh.
That's my fire alarm for some reason. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Well, you were just saying you're having a rainstorm there of some kind, right?
Yeah, exactly. I always wanted to go to the Ren Fair as a kid. Like I never really stopped playing dress up as a kid. So I just sort of took it to the next level. And oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say. So when did you start your Facebook page and your Instagram and all that? Like, because you've got like quite a large following. I mean, I guess a lot of these people you've met through the conventions.
Yeah, a lot of friends that I've met through conventions, through Instagram. Instagram has really been the best at networking and finding other costumers. A lot of people that I've met through Instagram, I've met then at conventions and caught up with them in real life too. But honestly, that stuff is pretty recent. I kind of fought that for a long time. I didn't think I wanted. I don't know.
That's so weird.
So Yeah, it was. I didn't do that. I didn't start a Facebook page or anything until about like a little over a year ago.
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of newer for me, but I've always been working on stuff behind the scenes.
Well, it's kind of nice too, because then you're able to put your work out there, you know, as like a portfolio almost, so that people can look at your costumes and you can share your, one of the, like, you know, I had Sheila on last week. I think you knew about that. And one of the things we were talking about is what a wonderful community the cosplay community is. It's very generous, and everyone's like, you know, willing to share their ideas and their techniques. And I, of course, have noticed you on the Outlander group, Inspire Costumes, that you're always willing to share your sources and your ideas. And of course, you helped me so much when I was doing my Outlander video. So what are your feelings about the community being that way?
There's some good, some bad. I think it's pretty open right now. I think it used to be a lot worse, where people did not want to share their sources. They held their cards closer to their chest all the time because a lot of people wanted to be the only one with certain costumes. And I don't like that mentality. I want to help people if I can. I'm not afraid to ask for help from other people if I need it, or on how to do something or where they got something from. So, you know, I want to be open to helping other people and to paying it forward a little bit. I am by no means an expert in just about anything, but, you know, I'll help where I can. And it's gotten a little bit better, hopefully.
Now, in terms of doing the cosplay, what's your favorite aspect of it? Is it the creating of the costumes, or is it the going to the conventions just in your costumes? What's your favorite aspect?
A little bit of both. I like the process of it. I used to hate sewing a whole lot, and even though I would do it, I didn't like it. And I think as I built my skills a little bit more over the years, and I feel a little more confident in what I can do, it's gotten easier for me, so I don't hate it anymore. But I like a lot of the detail work. I think a big part of making a costume is the fun of figuring out all the details of it. And so, you know, that's just as enjoyable to me as actually getting to wear it in the end. And maybe more so because I like being able to show off all the detail things that I've done along the way, because when you run into people at a convention, they're going by so fast most of the time, they don't even see what the details are. They just see the overall costume and move on. And, you know, I want to be able to share all the small things that I've done along the way.
Yeah. And also you've, I know you've partnered with, like, there's this one wig company that you like partnering with. And I think you've even collaborated with them, I think, on some aspects. Maybe you can explain that.
Yeah. I commissioned a wig years ago. Actually, I think the Gandalf set that my husband wears, that you'll see later, was the first one that I commissioned from them. They were recommended to me through a friend, and they weren't doing a whole lot of cosplay wigs at the time, mostly historical stuff, a little bit here and there. But and I became really good friends with the owner. So that's Custom Wig Company, and we've really collaborated on a lot of different wigs over the years now. And her husband, Ben Markham, is a professional photographer. So he's done shoots for us, and we've done some really neat collaborations with them. So, I mean, I have a really weird hairline with like a widow's peak. So it's really important for me to have a good wig, because I can't wear a lot of off-the-shelf wigs. They just don't work with my hairline. So I've been really fortunate to work with them a lot, and I have some really nice wigs in my collection from them. So.
Yeah. And so, and everyone, you'll see Natasha's wigs, like, because you always, what I love is you have everything all together. When you're doing your photo shoots, you've got the wig and the hair and the makeup and the costume and the accessories.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
And especially, I love the Gandalf wig, so we'll get to that in a moment. I just wanted to say hi to a few people that are here. Hey, everybody. Usually at the top of the show, I just sort of say hi. So we've got Angel Overs here. Herman Bum's mom, Sean McGuire. He's a friend of yours, Natasha.
Yeah, he's a friend.
Yeah, he says, so excited that today's guest is one of my good in real life friends. This is going to be so much fun. And Jennifer Duvall, thank you for featuring Natasha. She's amazingly talented, and I'm so excited you are having her on. Aw, that's so lovely.
Yeah, you're going to see her in a picture later of her.
That's awesome. And then Red Shoes, Red Wine. That's so that was my guest that we had from. She says, hi, ironic. I'm currently sewing something to hang out with Natasha in at Dragon Con. So actually, Sheila and we talked briefly about you, because she says that you guys know each other from the community and that you're going to be together at Dragon Con.
Yes.
And then Golf Princess is here, and the Toxic. He says, my name is Toxic. Okay. And I don't know. And then hold on a second. Let me see. It says, he said something. If you help me get oh, okay. Yeah. We don't do that here. We don't do sub for sub, guys. So I really have that. So anyway, what else did I want to ask you about? Now, what, like, besides doing cosplay, what else do you do? I know you have a job. You have a day job.
Yeah. In a former life, I did work professionally in theater for a few years after college. And I moved all over the country working for different theaters, but I got pretty burnt out on it because there's not really long-term stable jobs in the theater community. I mean, the people who have them stick to them forever and don't let them go. So you have to take a lot of different jobs. And so it got tiring moving around a lot, and I learned a lot. But after a couple years, my family business needed a little bit of help. So we have a garden center. That's where I'm the third generation in it. So I came back to help for a little bit, and I never left because I actually found a passion for plants and horticulture, and I teach classes there, and that's my thing now, and has been for at least 10 years. So this is just my hobby now. It's more fun for me this way. But there's a lot of professionals making costumes out there that I have a lot of respect for that still do it day to day, but not for me anymore.
Yeah, and I've seen some of your pictures that you've posted of at the garden center, like doing, you know, it looks like an amazing job.
It is.
The outdoors awesome. And everything like that. Also, Kate O'Neill's here. She says, Natasha is my executive committee person for our festival. She is amazing. Her opinion is highly valued in Chestnut Hill. Well, you've got such a loyal, lovely following. So I'm glad everyone's here. Okay, so guys, what we're going to do is, if you were here last week, what we did with red shoes, red wine, red shoes, is we went through her pictures, and that's what we're going to do with you today. And I've been sort of, you know, you were asking me earlier, Natasha, about this. I just sort of found that this was the best way to do it, because I was thinking, like, it's kind of hard to talk about costumes without actually having visuals. So this is why I've come up with this. So guys, what we're going to do is I'm going to just move over to this, and hopefully everyone can see it. That's just the first slide. And so maybe you can tell me as well, you've come up with the name Sewcialist Revolution. So obviously it's a play on words. Where did you come up with that name?
I don't know. Coming up with names is really hard, really hard. I have no idea. I knew I wanted something with sew in the name, and I don't even remember how I came to this. Sorry, I don't have a better story for that.
No, I love it though. It's very memorable and easy to remember. Okay, so the first one we're going to do is Star Wars. Now, some of these, I'm probably going back a ways with these, right? Like,
yeah, I was an older one.
Is this a bit of an older one?
Yeah, so actually this was our honeymoon.
Really? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so a couple weeks after we got married, we went back to another one of the Star Wars celebration conventions, and went to Disney and went to the convention and stuff. So yeah, this is a picture from then when I did my old Ewok Leia costume.
And obviously you're Leia, yeah, but but your husband is Luke.
Yes.
He's not canon.
We like to keep it awkward.
Yeah.
Awkward couples.
Yeah. Well, and actually it works for him because of his hair and everything. That's his own hair, I'm assuming. Yeah. So I actually do. I think I have a full picture of it. There you go. So yeah. So and this is the outfit I think when he came back from Dagobah or something he wore, I believe. And you're on that planet with the Ewoks.
Yes, Endor.
Andor. Okay. Yes. And that's a wig, obviously.
That's my real hair at the time, except for the braid in the front is
okay.
But yeah, that was my hair.
So you had long hair back then.
I did, yeah.
All right, so let me go back to this one though, because so here's this is obviously from the not the original trilogy, but the prequel.
Yeah, so this picture is really old. This picture is probably from 2004, maybe. Obviously, before I understood what wigs are, before the wigs were even really available easily. So I'm just wearing my inaccurate natural hair there. But yeah, this was fun, the lake dress from Attack of the Clones. So
yeah, I love the colors. I love all the different color, like layers that you have there.
So yeah, that's pretty old.
Yeah, so we're gonna have a few of those. And then what about this one?
This is from, I think, 2010 or 11. So this is Ahsoka Tano from the Clone Wars. She's a really popular character that has been brought back a bunch of times, but she appears always in the different Star Wars cartoons, but she's got a big cult following now. I do not have this costume anymore because it's really hard to get airbrushed in a hotel room. So
yeah, I was going to ask you this. So like in Canada, which is where I live, we have this thing called Fan Expo. So I'll notice that sometimes people have the body paint, but is that how you do it? You do it with an airbrush?
Do it with an airbrush. And we did it where we had a big box fan that we put in the doorway of the bathroom with a big air filter taped to it to try to catch the excess from the airbrush. It's like a big ordeal to do this, and it makes a mess, and you got to try to clean it up. It's really tough to do this in a hotel room, but it can be done.
Yeah. And then what about now? Is that a headpiece then that you're wearing?
Yes. My friend sculpted it. He goes by Wretched Hive Creations. He's really active in making sculpted pieces, prosthetic pieces. So this is silicone.
Oh, okay.
So he sculpted it and cast it for me and painted it. So he did a really nice job on that.
Yeah, I'm wondering, I think I was able to, guys, I think I'm able to zoom that in. Can you see that if I zoomed it in there? I realize I have a zoom in tool. So everyone see that a bit better? And then you, on top, I guess, of the spray paint, or sorry, body paint, you then apply, or do you do your makeup, your face paint with a sponge as opposed
the white
to
part? Yeah, the white part is just drawn in.
Yeah. Okay, and then next, this one looks like it might be a little bit older too.
Yeah, so this is a mashup costume, which you'll see at some conventions if somebody wants to do two different genres. So I mashed up Harry Potter with Star Wars and made an Imperial Quidditch player here.
Oh, I love it. That's awesome.
That was pretty fun. People got a kick out of that. I wanted to do something a little bit different, so that was fun.
Yeah. Now, how many conventions do you think you've gone to?
I don't know. I don't go to many anymore. I just don't have time with my job. I probably only go to like 2 a year, but I try to do a lot more local events and other costume things. I've gotten into more historical costuming lately, so I'm doing, a lot more local stuff. I don't even know how many conventions I've ever been to.
Yeah. So what would it be an example of a local event that you would go to?
I've gone to, there's a lot of historical events. I have some friends who do historical costuming, who coordinate themed dinners, private dinners and stuff, like candlelit dinners and things like that I'll do on the side. If there's Halloween related events, I'll go to them. Sometimes I just make my own event. Like I'll go to the botanical gardens in a costume and take photos and stuff just for the fun of it.
Oh, that's all right. I love that. Or you'll go to a tea. I know you did a high tea that you went to. Yeah. You dressed up.
Yep, did a high tea. That was really fun. So yeah, sometimes I just make my own costumed events.
I love that. Okay, so next, of course, and it was funny, I was just announcing on Twitter today that if anybody doesn't know this, season 3 of Outlander is on Netflix. So I was like, so I've been binge watching it this weekend. Actually, earlier in the day, I was watching it. So
I think it's only in Canada because they don't let Netflix have it here in the
US.
US.
Okay, maybe it's only Canada. Sorry, guys. Okay, yeah, and but yeah, how it works here is we usually get stuff like maybe a season like after or just before they're about to do the next season. So I've been waiting on it. So let's get into this then. Okay, so this one here. This is obviously Claire going through the stones.
This is in Scotland.
Oh, you're actually in Scotland.
Yeah, so I like to take costumes with me on vacation sometimes because it's fun. Get to do location stuff. So I made this just to take to Scotland. And I actually have never worn it again since then.
Oh, you're kidding?
Yeah, that was the only time I ever wore it. And we stayed right near here and got up really early in the morning, pretty much before dawn, so that we could go there before any tourists showed up, and so we could do a photo shoot. So that was fun.
That's amazing. Do you use the shawl though? I love the shawl.
I don't use it that much, and it's not the correct one. Now the correct one exists through the Outlander inspired costumes group and Two Silver Cats.
Yeah,
but I don't have the accurate one, sadly.
Yeah, she made me a shawl. I love it. But except I got it right before the summer, so I haven't really been able to wear it, but I'm so excited when we finally get some cold weather. I'm gonna wear it. Yeah, it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Or even for just watching TV, you know, like lying around, like being nice and cozy. Okay, so this one, this is accurate because I know we talked about this one online. So tell us about this costume.
So this is worn in season 1, and this was kind of a holy grail costume for me. Like I searched for this fabric for a long time, trying to match tartans and see if I could come up with something. And I didn't make it for 3 years after it premiered because I didn't find the right thing and I didn't want to do it out of something else. So when it finally became available that I could get this fabric, I scooped it up right away so I could make this.
Another picture so people can see.
Yeah. That's my friend Jennifer dressed as Hamilton.
That's awesome. I love it. So you guys can sort of see a close up there of the tartan.
Yeah.
What's the tartan called again? Do you know the name of it?
Lost Soul.
Lost Soul. Okay. And it's sort of a greeny color.
Yeah, it's a beautiful mossy green color with blue in it and black and white stripes. I love that tartan so much.
So now, do you use the JP Ryan tartan or patterns? What do you use to make?
No, I used the American Duchess Outlander like inspired pattern, and then I just I altered it. I always do mock-ups so that I can figure out what alterations I'm going to make, so I can do the fitting for it. Cannot stress enough how important that is before you cut your good expensive fabric, is to do a good mock-up.
Absolutely. And then I've got a and there's a couple in it. I've got a picture here. Oh, so here's when you bought the fabric and compared to actual Claire. So it's from GK Textiles, I believe, which is Gordon. If anybody wants to know about this tartan, it's you can get it through Two Silver Cats, but if you join the Outlander inspired costumes group, there's lots of resources available there. I can put a link for that, actually. Natasha, I've got your links, but I can add a link for that and also for the wigs.
Yeah.
And then I've got a picture. This is, okay, what's going on here?
Me hand sewing. I was just wearing the dress because I was like fixing it and I didn't want to have to take it off again because I was going to have to fit something. You can see our 2D2 that's in progress in my living room.
Amazing. So, amazing. Does it work? Like, does it actually?
It will. It's going to have all the electronics in it. So.
Oh, it's still a work in progress right now?
Progress. Yeah, it's not done yet.
So I love this picture here because everyone always wants to know, how are the pleats done? Do you want to explain? Do you want to tell us a little bit about this?
It depends on who you ask about this dress. Some people have done the pleats differently, and that's fine. I chose to do cartridge pleats because I felt like they were going to give me the most volume for the amount of fabric I had. So these are cartridge pleats, which I really like. I've used them before in other historical costuming when I've done like Tudor and Elizabethan era costume. So I'm pretty familiar with how to do them. And they're really not hard. They just take a little bit of time.
Yeah, what I like about them is they sort of stick out. Because the way they're attached to the band, they kind of stick out as opposed to sort of flat. So if you're wearing like a panier or a bum roll or whatever, they sort of go nicely over that, right? And you can determine how deep you want the pleats to be. Like you can do a wider cartridge pleat. I talk about cartridge pleats a lot. I adore them. Yeah. So let me go back here though to maybe here with the bodice though. Now there's a trim. What did you end up using for the trim around the neckline and the the bottom?
Braided trim. Yeah, it's just a cotton braided trim, and I dyed it with some dye from Dharma Trading Company. They make really nice dyes, and they'll usually help you color match things. You can send them pictures of what you're trying to achieve, and they'll help advise you on what kind of dyes to get. So I definitely recommend them.
Now, was it intentional that when you did the bias cut on the front of the bodice, did you intentionally match that up?
Yes.
You did. You did it. How was that?
It was difficult, but it's actually, it's not so I know the show is not historically accurate exactly, but it is historically accurate if you don't match up your plaids and your tartans exactly. They did a lot of piecing because they just had to work with what they had. So if you didn't match it, it's okay. You can get away with it.
Yeah, but that just shows just a nice addition to detail that you've done there. Because unfortunately,
but
and then also then you added a little bit of a little cotton cuff here as well.
Yeah, this is after I finished a little bit more
Yeah.
of it, and I added the accurate.
Now this wig here, or is that your own hair?
That's a wig.
That's amazing. This is probably one of the best I've seen.
So that's actually that's not a fancy wig. That's just a wig I got off the shelf. But what I did was I pulled my natural hair over the front of it to blend it in more.
Oh, because that's what I was gonna say. I was like, that's why I thought it was your hair, because of the widow's peak there. You got a little widow's peak.
Yeah, so this is actually just a wig. I just pulled it back a little bit, and I pulled my natural hair over the front and pinned it, and it worked out really well. So,
but the color matches really well.
Yeah. Well, my hair was different. My hair was red then, so I used like this spray that you use on your roots if you don't want to dye your hair and you just want to touch up your roots. So it was like a brown root spray.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and then obviously, and there's your husband dressed, looks amazing, and his Jamie wig.
Yes, so that's made by Custom Wig Company. They did a really nice job in blending a lot of different colors and getting that really natural look, which is so important for Jamie.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I know the actor he dyes his hair a little bit, but it looks very natural, I think.
I agree.
And then it ties in nicely, like sort of the reddish color ties in nicely with his costume.
Yeah.
Now, but what about this tartan that he's wearing?
So this was also before you could get the reproductions from the show. So this is a Douglas tartan. It's like the closest thing I felt I could find at the time. So that came from a mill in Scotland. Someday maybe we'll replace it with a more accurate thing, but tartan is expensive, so maybe not.
I love it. Okay, and then of course your costume, I know from having talked to you. Sorry, I'll go back to it. Is screen accurate, both the embroidered fabric and the tartan. So, do you want to tell me about that?
Yeah. So this is the Ross tartan, and it's the muted tartans like this that we're both wearing are 18th century hunting weathered tartans. So there'll be more muted colors than what you'll see with the modern tartans that you see like pipe bands wearing. So that's what that is. And so that's the Ross. And then the panels in the front with the stomacher and the front of the dress are the accurate embroidered silk pieces. I got one of the very last meters that was available of this fabric ever.
Yeah, so tell me about that. Or tell everybody else. I know the story, but tell them about that because I think that's a fun story.
Through a friend of a friend, I made friends with somebody who works at Berwick Street Cloth Shop in London, and he told me that they sell a lot of fabrics to different movie production companies and TV shows. So this is one that was bought for Outlander from them, and they only had 2 meters of it left. So I got 1 meter and my friend Maggie got the other meter of it. So the back of the dress is a different silk fabric. It's just the front panel that you see there that's embroidered. I used every little bit of it I had.
Yeah, which is, a popular technique in theater. I think, you tend to not use the really, I don't know if that's historically accurate, but
it is historically accurate.
It is. Yeah, you use your really good fabric for the front, but you're not going to use it for the rest of the skirt.
Yeah, people could not afford to do that, so they would definitely just use it in the front.
Yeah, so is it a silk?
It is a silk. It's a silk that's embroidered. It was made in India originally.
Yeah, so it's just stunning. I've seen some of your close-up pictures of it. It's really beautiful. And now Berwick, because they also they have a couple of stores, but they do Top Fabric of Soho, and I always tweet about them because they do a lot of the Game of Thrones fabrics as well.
Right, they do. They do the Game of Thrones. I know they've supplied for some of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. They did Lord of the Rings back in the day. They did that, like a bunch of stuff for them. I have the Outlander wedding dress fabric from them, so that will be something that I'm going to be working on too.
So that's like I think I saw it. So is it sort of a silvery linen, like a metallic linen? What is that one?
Grayish natural linen, and it's woven with silver metallic in it.
Okay, yeah, because I'm pretty sure I've seen that. And actually the price on that I think was pretty good.
Yeah, it's not too bad. It's 35 pounds a meter or something, which is, I know, is a lot, but it's good considering other things that they sell.
Now, do you mind telling me, you don't have to, but do you mind sharing how much the embroidered fabric was?
I think it was 120 or 125 a meter.
You mean pounds?
Pounds.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah. So,
okay. But you were able to get away with just 1 meter.
Yeah, that's why I only did 1 meter. But also, when I make a costume, I only make 1, maybe 2 costumes a year. I really budget for them and research a lot. And, you know, if I'm going to spend the money to do it the way I want to do it, you know, I definitely allow for that. I save up for it. It's not, you know, something I take lightly.
Yeah, and then when I noticed, like for instance here, you'll do things like you'll add pieces. So you've added like a cowl or a cape or that type of thing. So to change it up a bit.
Yes. And because it's weather dependent too. Like this is not accurate for that dress, but we went to Colonial Williamsburg for New Year's and I had to layer up a bit because it was cold.
Yeah. And okay, now let's go back to your husband's costume. So what did you use? Like how did you go about making that?
So the coat was like a pirate coat pattern that I altered, but the fabric, I had been looking for this accurate fabric for the coat that he wears at the gathering in season 1. I found, it's really hard to tell there, but it's got window box or like window pane lines on it or whatever they call it. But anyway, it's a wool and it's really pretty spot on, but I found that at Mood Fabrics in New York, which you may know if you've ever watched Project Runway, they always shop there.
Yes, I love Mood Fabrics. And then you made the waistcoat. Did you have a pattern that went with the coat as well?
Yeah, that was like another colonial pattern that I altered. And so yeah, and he did the leather work for some of this himself. Sure. Some was from friends of ours who do leather work. So it's a bit of a collaboration there, as most of our costumes are. Some pieces I make, some things I'll source out if it's not something I know how to do.
Yeah, and then what is he? Does he have a weapon?
He does. He's wearing a dirk there. That's the short. And then he's also got a reproduction 18th century Scottish, some kind of basket hilt sword. I don't know.
Oh, okay. So where do you guys normally get that type of thing?
He found them online. He just
he did.
Searching for them and researched it for a while and found them online. Reproduction stuff that I guess reenactors use. A lot of for stuff like this, reenactor websites are really helpful to get parts from.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so then that was and this. I got a close up of the two of you. So nice. So this is your own hair here, though, because you went to this event.
Yeah, that was my hair at the time, and I'm wearing a piece that matches my hair because my hair was shorter then. So that's just on the back, like the curls that are there. I had that made to match my hair at the time.
Okay, so tell me what's going on here. Everyone's going to be like, oh my God. I did see, full disclosure, I did see your video. It was so awesome.
Yeah, so friends of mine own a website and blog called that'snormal.com. And they write about a lot of different subjects and a lot of pop culture. And they do a lot of coverage of Outlander with a humorous twist. But they sent me to New York to the costume display that was opening at, I guess it was Saks Fifth Avenue. And they had a bunch of the season 2 costumes on display there. So they were doing a red carpet and I got to interview Sam and Kate and Ron Moore and Terry Dressbot. So
yeah. And then so here's Terry. So she's, anybody doesn't know, she's the costume designer. So now when she saw you, she kind of freaked out though, didn't she?
She was everybody was very nice. Actually, Kate was really nice. She was like, she recognized that I had the real fabrics right away, which was good. She was like, oh my God, you know, that's so accurate.
But I saw Terry say,
like, oh my God, where'd you get that stuff from? And I'm like, it was sources of mine in London.
But Terry was like, shut up. Remember? She was like, shut up. Where did you get that? It was so funny.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. It was very brief, but it was a neat experience.
Yeah.
It was boring. The weather was terrible. We'll
Um,
have a good time.
now, besides the cast and crew members and so on, were you having people who were there for the event coming up to you, like, you know, trying to?
Yeah, a lot of people were really amazed that we came to it, especially to interview people that we came in costume. So I don't know. I probably the other press thought we were totally weird, but I have no shame, so I don't care.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so then this one is just a close up. Oh, actually, here's a good close up of the trim, and then also the beautiful embroidered fabric. And then you've got this really gorgeous brooch. Where'd you get that from?
That brooch is made by Rock Love Jewelry. They have a license to make inspired jewelry for Outlander. They make some really beautiful stuff.
Oh, I'll have to get that link from you. I'm looking for a brooch.
They have a bunch of other licenses too, like Disney and Marvel and stuff too. So they make a lot of things.
Okay, now I included this because I wasn't sure, like, okay, on the right, I know this was you had a sample done.
Yeah, so my friend Christine does incredible digitizing of embroidery, and she's going to be doing the embroidery for me for the wedding dress. I'm going to assemble the rest of it. She's going to do the embroidery, and then I'll use it as appliques to put it on the dress.
Oh, okay. So when are you planning on doing that?
Hopefully starting in the fall. We'll see what happens. I've got a lot of the materials for it, but it depends on time.
So what's the fabric on the right, or sorry, the left, I should say?
That's from a Tudor dress that I have. So that's a 16th century dress.
Oh, okay. So that's not Outlander.
No, it's not.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing that. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I have pictures on my Facebook page of that.
All right. So next we're going to go to Harry Potter.
Yeah.
And here's a good one that you have done in a photo shoot.
Yes.
So what do you want to say about this one?
So this was part of the collaboration that we did with Custom Wig Company and Ben Markham Photography. And we got, they came to Philly and set up a temporary studio and did a bunch of photographing of different costumes of ours. It was a really cool experience and yielded some really beautiful photos. So we're wearing their wigs, and I made Dustin's Lucius costume back in 2011, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And the outfit I'm wearing of Narcissa, that coat was a collaboration between me and somebody who works in LA in the film and TV industry. And she goes by Evening Arwen on Instagram. She's really talented. She assembled the coat and I hand painted the whole thing. And it's really hard to tell in this photo what is on there, but there are like thousands of tiny little micro dotted lines on there. And I spent about a month hand painting this coat.
I think there might be, let me see if I have a better picture of it.
Yeah.
No, I think this might be I know. Okay. So there, so it's kind of like how did you do this?
With a really small paintbrush and hand dotted every little scallop line.
Oh my God. Did you do it in pencil first though?
No, I just freehanded it.
So how long do you think that took you?
That probably took me a month working on that on and off. It took a long time.
Wow. Now
she sent me the pieces unassembled. I painted them, sent them back to her, then she assembled the coat.
Okay, I get it. Is it kind of a greeny color though? Like depending on the light, it sort of looks green a bit.
Yeah, it is. It's a dark green color.
Yeah. It's just it's stunning.
I love this coat. It's such a cool vintage style to it. So that appeals to me because I love vintage clothing. So
yeah. And then here's actually another picture. This is so cute. Yeah, is that do you know the person in the middle?
Yeah, this is my friend Ren, who costumes his son Draco.
It's so cute.
She's super cute.
I thought I had a pic. Oh, maybe I didn't include it. I saw there was a picture of you with the actor. You were actually met. I can't remember the actor's name.
Yeah, Jason Isaacs. We met
Jason Isaacs. Yes.
And he was so nice. We met him.
I love him. I saw him in a really great interview because he always plays evil characters. Like I don't know if you've seen. There's a Netflix show that he's on. I can't remember. He's on the new Star Trek as well. But I saw him in this interview, and he was just so sweet, and affable and
wonderful human being in real life.
Yeah, I always love knowing that. So what's this picture here? Oh, you're in a different outfit though.
Yeah, this is kind of, it was really hot. This was a couple months ago. We did this at Eastern State Penitentiary, which is a historic old prison. That famous people like Al Capone used to be in prison there for a while, back in the 20s. So
oh my God.
Very dilapidated now, but you can go tour there. They do like haunted tours at Halloween and stuff. But this was for a Harry Potter themed event there. And it was really hot, so I couldn't wear that coat. So I had to come up with another outfit. So I have this dress that's an alternative. It's like an original design. It's not.
Yeah, I love it. But you're wearing the same wig though.
Yes.
I think. Yes. Okay. And then I think this is you here as well. Is that the same outfit? Yeah. And is this the same prison? Like the same?
Yeah, they decorated the whole thing.
It's very cool.
It was such a cool event. It was really, really atmospheric. I loved it. So.
Yeah, it's really okay. And then you were going to tell me about this one. I didn't know these other players here.
Yeah, so this was Dragon Con a few years ago. There, I'm dressed as Bellatrix Lestrange. She's another bad guy. Mm-hmm. And, our friends Donnie and Emily are Sirius Black and Nymphadora Tonks. They're good guys. She makes all of their costumes, so she's a very talented costume maker as well.
Yeah, I love your wig here.
Yeah, that's a fun wig. That one's made for my hairline. The dress, I hand painted a lot of that. There's some embroidery I did on it.
Yeah, it's like are you wearing like a kind of a corset over top of it?
Really funky corset that I wear with that. That's got crazy lines all over it and it's hand stitched. A friend of mine made that for me that does leather work.
So it's made of leather. Yeah, it's really beautiful.
Yeah, it's really neat. So I love that outfit too. It's a fun character.
All right. So then, so next we're going to go to, this one, I mean, you must feel so proud of this costume.
Yeah, I'm proud of this considering I did not know what I was doing when I made this.
It's just stunning. I should have had a picture of the actual show, but I mean, but what I thought was really neat when you did the photo shoot is you kind of recreated it like the way the series does.
Yeah, I wanted to do pictures that were like the promos for the show that were very blue and dramatic looking like this. So I got recommended to work with Alexandra Lee. She's a photographer out of Louisville. And we worked on this at KatsuCon. She sets up a studio in her hotel suite, and we yielded gorgeous photos. She did such an amazing job making us look good.
It's amazing. And then your jewelry, like I know I have a picture of you, I think at the beginning where you're wearing the crown. So I mean, we'll get to the dress in a moment, but how did you obtain the jewelry or how did you source it and obtain it?
So the crown is a replica of the Grand Duchess Vladimir crown, which is one of Queen Elizabeth's favorite tiaras that she wears. Mm-hmm. You'll see, if you look at pictures of her over the years, she wears it quite often. And sometimes she'll wear it with pearl drops like I'm wearing it there. Sometimes they'll switch it out to emerald drops as well. So it's a lot of her jewelry is versatile and can be changed up, which I think is pretty neat. But this was bought from Russian royalty back in the early 1900s into her family. So that's one that is a famous tiara. And there was somebody who makes a replica of it that also makes beauty pageant queen tiaras. So I found it on a website.
Oh, okay. Oh, by the way, Sheila says we're not worthy. She's so cute. We're not worthy. And then what about the earrings and the necklace?
The earrings and the necklace just came off of eBay. I think they were pretty inexpensive. Mm-hmm. And I'm wearing a brooch that's in the corner of the bodice that is a vintage 1950s brooch. It's pretty similar to the one on the show. I got that off of Etsy.
Yeah, no, my eye was going right to it. I was going to see if I had a better picture, but yeah, my eye was going right toward that. Actually, that brooch. It's right at the tip there, right?
Mm-hmm. So
yeah, it's really beautiful. And then, what kind of gloves are they? Like Lycra kind of gloves, or what did you use there?
They're nothing special. They just came from Amazon.
Yeah. So tell us about the dress. Like, tell us, that process must have been crazy.
I built this dress on top of a corset so that it would have good structure to it. And it's got a hidden closure down the side of it. And this was kind of like creating a sculpture, I feel like, because I had to really manipulate the fabric and do so much hand sewing on it and try to get it to mold the way I wanted it to look. So it's got a lot of hand stitching in it to try to get it to work. So I had it on I had the whole thing on my dress form, and I was just pinning it like crazy and trying to drape it and get the look of it.
Yeah. And then actually this will give you a bit of a better idea what it looks like sort of in normal light. So what are the colors of the fabrics?
So it's a bluish color fabric. It's kind of like a light blue, and then silver on the other part of it. And
is it silk?
No, it's some kind of.
Oh wow, it looks natural.
Yeah. Now sometimes I get worried about real silk because like that Outlander dress that has the real embroidered silk, if that were to get wet, it would be ruined. And I get so worried about that sort of thing, especially going to a convention and stuff where people could bump into you and you never know what's going to happen. So I try not to use silk that often, even though I love it, just for that reason. I want to be able to spot clean things if I have to.
Yeah, absolutely. That's, it makes total sense. And then here you are with Jon Snow.
Yeah.
Knighting him.
So
Jon never got knighted. Now, I can't see them, but what kind of shoes are you wearing? Maybe I can see here. No, you can't see them.
They're just flats.
Yeah. And then here you've added like a stole or something.
Yeah, because this was in winter and it was chilly. So yeah.
And is your husband dressed as a peer or something? Like
no, that's not my husband. That's somebody else.
Oh, it is. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that was your husband.
No, that was just some random guy there. He's actually dressed as King George III from Hamilton.
Oh, so the King George?
Yeah, he's wearing the Hamilton costume.
I love it. That's great.
Great grandpapa.
Now this one, oh my God, this is amazing. How old is this costume?
This is not that old. I think I made it in 2014 or 15. And this has gone through a little bit of changes through the years too, upgrades. I like to upgrade things over time if I decide I'm not happy with it.
Sure. Now, so how many layers do you think you've got on that dress?
The petticoat has a lot of ruffles in it. A lot. And that was actually a collaboration with Red Threaded. She makes a lot of Broadway show costumes, but she also has a business where she sells custom made corsets too. But she has a lot of experience in making crazy petticoats, so she made the petticoat for this, and it's got many different colors of fabrics and layers. It's massive.
Yeah, like I noticed it almost has at some point it looks like there's a bit of like a purple, like like in this picture, for instance. Let me go here. It looks kind of purpley.
Yeah, it's got a lot of iridescent layers. Yeah, it's got a lot going on with that.
Now, are you wearing hoops though?
I am wearing a hoop, and this dress is so heavy that the hoops had to be reinforced with PVC piping in it.
Wow.
Because any other hoop I used with this would collapse, even steel ones. So yeah, it kind of got crazy. So I can't fly with this thing. It has to go in the car. Yeah,
absolutely. We actually, when I used to do theater, if we had hoops, I found a way to kind of twist the hoops, but it's difficult. They'll get cracked or whatever, bent, right? But now, what about the bodice? Is it built on a corset?
It is. It has hidden lacing in the back, and then it closes with snaps over that. So it's very seamless in the back. You can't see how it closes, so it's very invisible, which is nice.
Yeah, isn't that stunning, everybody? And here's a really cute picture of you, and then a nice close up of your wig as well. Because also we can see there's some nice little details on. I haven't seen the movie, but there's little butterflies.
Oh my gosh, you have to see it. The costumes are gorgeous.
Yeah, I have to see it. And like the guy from the prince is the guy from Game of Thrones, right?
Yep.
Now it looks like there's even, did you add some little like gems or something on the skirt? It looks like there's little bits of sparkle.
The movie one is covered in thousands of rhinestones. I don't have nearly the amount I should have on it, but it's a little exhausting adding them. So someday maybe I'll add more.
Yeah. Like in here in this picture, look how I guess they must have used a filter bit. It's just so luminescent. It's just amazing.
This dress looks very different in the movie than with the filters they used in the film than what it looks like in real life too. And this is more like the color it looks in the movie, but the other pictures where it's a lighter, much lighter blue is what it looks like in real life.
Oh, okay. Okay. Now tell me about your wig. Here's a good picture of it.
Yeah. So this one was made by Custom Wig Company. I think that you should, I like accuracy with hair, but I also think you should wear things that are flattering for you. And so I do not look good with a middle part. So I asked them to put the part on the side for this, even though in the movie she wears it down the middle. And I think that's something to consider about how you feel comfortable when you wear a wig is what is going to be what you think looks good for you. And this is what I think looks better for me.
Yeah. Is it Lily James who plays Cinderella in the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah. She's in that new one about the Potato Peel Society. I have to watch that. Have you seen an ad for that?
I have not seen it yet, but I've heard about it. So
yeah. And she's she's from Downton Abbey too. So yeah, I totally agree. This is very flattering on you. And you know what I love is that braid at the back. You didn't get a picture of the back, did you? Maybe here I can show it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see it there. So it's sort of like just on the top of your head and all the hair sort of cascades out of it.
Yep. Yeah. It's a separate piece, so it can come out too. Because I also do her like peasant house dress version, and she doesn't have the braid on top. So it can be taken. I can wear it in a different style for the movie. So it's nice.
Now, one thing Sheila was telling me is she repurposes things. Do you do that as well? Like repurpose a wig for another character, or repurpose a petticoat or something?
Yeah, it depends on what it is. I do have some wigs that I repurpose, but some are just so specific that I can't. But I will if I can. Definitely, I'll save myself some money and do that.
Yeah. Oh, Cindy says Lily James and her teeny tiny waist. Yeah, actually, there was some. I think there was a little bit of flack about that. The fact that they tightened it. She was so corseted.
One thing I will say about this dress is it's an illusion about how small your waist can look in it because. Yeah. How big the dress is. So it very much is a bit of an illusion because my dress is laced tightly, but not not uncomfortable in it or anything. But it's definitely, it's part of the illusion of it just because of the way it makes your body look. And that's why you'll see that in a lot of like historical dresses, like 18th century dresses, because they have so much petticoats and they wear bum rolls, your waist looks very narrow.
Yeah, I did actually. It was funny. I was looking at this one historical dress and they were saying when it was tightened, it would have been an 18-inch like waistline. Isn't that crazy? But I mean, a lot of these women would have been young, like they would have been, quite young. So if they had and people were smaller then too. That's something I think you have to keep in mind. So this is a black and white, but obviously this is Frozen. What's the character's name again? Elsa, of course. Oh my God. I do face painting occasionally, and you wouldn't believe I'm always getting asked for Frozen for Elsa. Yeah. Always. So I had to practice my snowflakes. So this is a great wig. This is a different wig though.
Yeah, this is a different wig. This is just for Elsa. It's pretty much.
Here's a color picture of it here.
So yeah. And rather than exactly like the cartoon, it's a little more based on what looks more realistic for an actual person.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And then what was I going to say? So this one, instead of doing any type of part, it just has sort of like a swept up kind of look.
Yeah. And it's very PC in the back, but you can't really see it there.
Sure. Okay. So here, of course, is the costume, which is just stunning. So how did you go about making this? Oh my God, I don't even know.
No, the only thing I didn't make is the cape. I did not make the cape. I bought that. But the rest of it, which the front of it was a big, I started with.
Yeah, here's all the gems and everything.
Yeah, so like they're hand cut pieces of foam, which I then put tons of Mod Podge and glitter on them. I painted every single one of them because I wanted a lot of texture. I like a lot of texture in costumes that I make. I don't want it to be, especially when you're interpreting something from a cartoon, I want to make it more interesting in real life rather than so two-dimensional. So I really wanted there to be a lot of texture on this bodice. So it's got gems, it's got a lot of layering.
So zoom in a bit there. Yeah, and then obviously you got tons of rhinestones like on the sleeves and everything.
Yeah, so like I said, a lot of bling, a lot of texture.
And this is something like, you know, I've talked about on the show a lot is that, you know, especially because if you're taking a photograph of something, like when you have a lot of things going on, it creates more depth, right? You know, I saw that you were talking about like the costume behind you right now. You were talking about, oh, should I stop? You know, and I used to work, I went to theater school with this guy and he just like, you can never have enough. You can never have enough. It's hard to know when to stop, but it does really create a lot of texture and depth when you do that.
Yeah, I think it's important for, especially for, you know, photographs and when you're at a convention and stuff, making sure things show up on camera. And I always say, if you think you have enough makeup on, put on more because it will not show up in a photo unless you
absolutely. Yeah.
Go for it.
Okay. So then, how did this work then with getting the cape? Did you ordered the cape and then how did you incorporate it into the costume? Is it a separate piece?
It's just a separate piece and it just snaps into the back of the corset. So real easy to put on and a total pain in the butt to walk around anywhere with.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And
then, so you have to sort of like have a handler.
I'm just constantly carrying it and then I just kind of fling it out when I have to do a photo or something. But I actually do princess parties for kids on the side sometimes. So, you know, it's always trying to keep this cape out of the way from little kids stepping on it.
Yeah, they must, like when they see you, they must just flip out.
Yeah, well, a lot of kids are very scared of Elsa. I think they don't trust the fact that she has ice powers. They like her sister Anna, who my real life sister dresses as.
Yeah. So
they like her a lot, but they're a little nervous around Elsa.
They're afraid that you're going to freeze them.
Yeah, something like that. I have to do a lot of reassuring.
Cindy says stunning, by the way. And then Golf Princess, she says, wow, for someone who didn't like to sew, your costumes are on point. So impressive. That's really nice.
I'm very determined. I figured it was worth it because I really, really wanted this stuff.
And then Cindy says, I'm loving the blues of all these gowns. Yeah, actually, you do have a lot of blue. Is that a coincidence, though, that there's a lot of blue?
I didn't plan on it. I didn't actually think I used to like blue very much. And apparently I do. And now my hair is blue, too. So I guess I like blue.
Yeah. Now, this one, well, actually, this dress might be blue. I'm not sure.
No, it's black, actually.
It's black. Okay. So this, of course, is from Brave.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Yeah, this was fun. I wanted to do something a little bit different, and there's a dress that she wears for about 2 seconds at the very end of the movie that you barely see, and so this is based on that one.
Oh,
and
okay.
It's got a big Celtic knotwork thing along the hem of it, so which you can't see.
Oh, okay. And then I love the belt. So the belt's got sort of that the Celtic sort of like tooled leather or something.
Yep.
And then what's that thing in the center?
Is that her? It's like it's like the closure on the belt, and then it's like 3 bears, which represents
her clan or whatever.
Brothers, I guess, that get turned into bears or whatever.
Yeah, I've only seen it once. I can't remember it. But I thought it was great.
Yeah, so I made this out of a real wool and everything because I wanted it to be kind of more historical, even though it's not really, but I wanted to do it a little more justice.
Yeah, it's really beautiful.
In the movie. So.
Okay, and then of course we're getting into Lord of the Rings then, and this is Gandalf.
Yeah, so
that is your husband.
He's wearing old age prosthetics. They're like old man theater prosthetics.
It's amazing.
So yeah, and he's got eyebrows, a mustache, a beard, and a wig, all made by Custom Wig Company.
It's amazing. Now, what prosthetics did you use? Do you know was it Wuchi or?
No, it wasn't any company that I recognized. I found it on some theater supply website, and they had a bunch of different. And it was just like an old man prosthetic. So I now colored it with makeup and blended it.
Yeah, it's very. Here, I'll go moving a bit close there. It's very realistic. Like, what did it look like in person?
Not quite as blended. I mean, pretty blended. But the good thing is that hat is so big, it kind of like shades his face a lot. So there's a lot of people who were very fooled by it and didn't realize he wasn't an old guy.
That's awesome. Okay, so now this is you're Frodo though.
Yes. Yeah, I'm Frodo.
Okay. And did you make both these costumes?
Yep. Yeah. So his costume is made out of a raw silk. It's real nubby.
Okay.
And I didn't know how to dye that much fabric all in one go because I had to dye something like 8 yards of it. And I was like, how the heck am I going to do this? Because it was just a white color when I got it. So we ended up building a fire in the woods at my parents' house because they have a big property, and putting a metal trash can full of water, boiling it, and doing this huge vat of dyeing. It was crazy.
Oh, wow. Did you pee in it?
No, I didn't do that.
Outlander? Oh, that was
fully modern dyes do not require that.
No, I did. I went to this Viking exhibit, and I was chatting with this. I was chatting with this woman who does reenactment, and that's what they do. They they do all these outdoor events, and then they fill a pot, and then they do the dyeing. And then she was telling me that they were putting urine in it, yep. And she would just plunge her hands right in there.
Hard pass on that.
But no, that's really cool though. So you did it over an open fire.
Yeah, it was not the most ideal, but that's how I figured I was going to be able to.
That's pretty cool though.
So it was crazy.
Yeah, to do. I mean, I've done dyeing in the washing machine, but sometimes it doesn't always, it's not always even. This is the issue, right?
Right, exactly.
Getting it evenly dyed.
Yeah, enough container. So.
And then what about your outfit?
That's so it's just
another picture of you here.
He wears velvet pants and a velvet vest, which I hate sewing velvet. It's the worst. Yeah. This picture is actually in New Zealand, in Hobbiton. We took the costumes with us there.
That's amazing.
So
is this where they shot the movie?
Yeah, this is where they shot the movie. Oh.
And they've kept it and everything. They kept the sets and everything.
They have the whole village of Hobbiton set up there. You can do tours.
So cute.
You can go to the pub there and have a pint, and it's fantastic. So we were on this tour with all these other regular, normal people and us in costumes.
That's awesome. And what about your feet?
Yeah, so they're like these monster feet that I painted and added hair to.
Yeah, because they have really hairy feet for some reason.
Yeah, they have.
That was really funny.
So they're real goofy.
Someone says, I remember reading Clan of the Cave Bear books and using old urine to get white clothes. Yeah, because it's got ammonia in it. So I guess that would make sense, right?
Yep.
But they also use it to like set dye, apparently, in the medieval period. Terry talked about that.
Yeah.
Okay, and here's the picture. So that, you said Custom Wig Company. I'll get their link from you, and then I can put that in the description. So if anybody wants to check them out. Do they have a website?
Oh yeah, absolutely. They've got a website. They've got a really good social media presence. So
awesome.
Yeah. They do a lot of really cool costume stuff that they're always posting.
So, all right. So this one is The Hobbit, which is it's actually the story before Lord of the Rings, but the movie came out after. Now, who is your costume of?
So mine is not a real character per se. So he's dressed as the King of Mirkwood, Thranduil, and they mention her, but he had an elf queen, but she's been dead for thousands of years. So we don't know what she looked like or anything really much about her. But I decided that I wanted to make an elf costume too. So this is my own design.
Yeah, let me go to the next one because it's a full shot of you there. It's amazing. And how long ago was this one?
This is not that old. This is probably like 3 years ago. Yeah. So I wanted to make complimented his.
No, I asked Sheila this. So is your husband, is he really like doing this? Does he like dressing up in costumes?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun for us to do together. He gets very into it. I do most of the work on stuff. He's good at building armor and doing weathering and things like that. But I do like all the sewing. But yeah, no, it's really fun for both of us. I got him into it, and then it took off from there. So
yeah, I think it's like Sheila's husband does it as well, and I know I had Kristen on here as well, and her husband does a lot of like they did. Was it those characters? The guys with the it's not Alien, but it's something like that.
They do
Predator. Oh my gosh, they're amazing. And her husband, I know he does a lot of that stuff. So yeah, it's really important to have someone who supports you and supports you doing this, but obviously if they do it as well, it's must be so much more fun.
Yeah, it is. It definitely is. So yeah, we like doing costumes together, and sometimes we do stuff that is completely different than what the other likes, but that's okay too.
Well, it sounds like, I mean, one of the things Kristen was saying, she says, when I have you on here, you and I have really similar tastes in the types of shows we like. So I was like, yeah, absolutely. She's like, yeah. So, because my husband and I actually, when we met, we went on a date and I said to him, what's your favorite movie? And he says, and he was thinking for a while. And he says, well, it'd have to be Blade Runner. And I'm like, Blade Runner, that's my favorite movie. And like, we're both really into science fiction. So it just totally, gelled, right? And we like, it's funny, sometimes I'll cheat on him with the show. Like I'm watching Outlander kind of on my own, and he'll come in and he'll be like, what's going on here? But for the most part, we have shows that we like to watch together. So, and this is really, I love the headpiece here. Yeah,
so I sculpted that out of there's like plastic beads that you can put into water and they melt and you can sculpt them then. So I sculpted that and painted it and added some fake ferns to it.
Now, is he wearing the same wig that he wore for Harry Potter, or is this a different wig?
No, this is a different wig because this one's a lot longer.
Oh, it's longer. Okay.
It doesn't have a defined part like the other one does.
Sure. Okay. And the coat must have taken a long time to do because it's all these pieces, right?
A lot of work. I had to do a lot of mock-up work trying to figure out how do you make a pattern. It was actually a pattern for a priest, I guess priest robes, and I used that as a base and then started drawing all the lines and measuring it and figuring out how I was going to make it. And then I had to make my own piping for it. So yeah, it was a really big process on this one.
Wow. And I love your wig too. It's just stunning.
And yeah, that's just an off-the-shelf type white wig, but it works.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Cindy wants to know, are the stripes in this garment individual or is it in the fabric? So yeah, they're individual.
Yeah, all individual.
Yeah. So when did you take the pattern and then like cut it into these strips and then cut them individually?
Yeah. So then I had to map it out on the pattern. And then I had to also make sure that I allowed for seams on it. That takes extra fabric. So, and then, do the whole fitting with him. I always do a fitting to make sure everything is working out properly, that it's draping right. So. Yeah.
And then it looks like the texture goes a different way. So did you turn the fabric around to, at some points, the fabric looks like it's going, horizontal or vertical?
I think it's just the lighting on it. And because the smaller strips, you can't see the pattern as much. So I think it's
zoom in here. Oh, it's kind of like a brocade.
It might be a little bit, but yeah.
Oh, it's actually like a brocade.
Random. It's pretty random.
Yeah. Sorry, Natasha, is it like a brocade?
Yeah, it's some kind of metallic brocade.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. I love it. And then does he have something at his throat? Like a little...
Yeah, it's a brooch. It's got a big stone in the middle. It's a reproduction one that Weta Workshop makes that, did all the design stuff for the movie. So.
Sean says, if anyone is wondering, Instamorph is the plastic beads that melt in hot water.
Yeah.
Thanks, Sean. Maggie wants to know, how do you store all your wigs?
I actually use small trash cans with lids, like I just get them at Walmart. They're like a bathroom size trash can, and I put all the wigs pinned onto a wig head, like a foam wig head.
Yep.
And so everything gets stored, and then I label everything of what's in the boxes. We actually have a small room that's a walk-in closet, and we have all sorts of storage containers in there. Everything's labeled on shelves. And I've got like hanging closets in there and stuff. So yeah, I've got a room full of costumes.
Yeah. How many wigs do you think you own?
I don't even know.
Don't want to guess.
Too many. It's not enough somehow.
Okay. So next we're going to go to Labyrinth, which is what you're working on now. It's actually here. You've got it behind you.
Yeah, I do. And I just completed it today. So it's done.
Oh my gosh. You must be so happy.
Yeah, with only like a week to go before we leave the Dragon Con. That's okay.
So how much do you think it weighs, the coat?
It's pretty heavy. It's probably about 8 to 10 pounds, maybe. Yeah. I don't know what that is in Canadian.
Yeah. How many gems do you think you put on there? Did you do bedazzle?
Hundreds. I still have a bunch left over, actually. Yeah. But yeah, a lot. A friend of mine who does work in New York City, bedazzling all sorts of like opera outfits and dancers and stuff. She hooked me up with a whole bunch of gems from their source. So
that's awesome.
That helped out.
So let me here, I'm going to go back to this because I've got like you did a little video. Let's see if it plays. There's a little video of you. It's not quite done here.
Yeah, it's not done there. It doesn't have the skirt attached or anything.
Yeah. So you can get you guys can see how many gems you have on there. You've got a couple of appliques too that you've sort of used as a base.
I did. I incorporated appliques and lace with beading on it. So there's a lot of different textures going on in this. My reoccurring texture theme.
Oh, Cindy says, cost, dare I ask? Okay, I'm not sure what she's asking about. Cindy, can you explain what you want to know the cost of? She wants to know the cost of the Goblin King. You want to know the cost? You mean like the materials? Is that, I'm not sure what she means.
Probably.
Yeah. You probably may not even know because it's, I don't know.
Yeah, I probably don't fully know. The nice thing is that we entered Mood Fabrics costume contest that they had last fall.
Sure.
I entered Dustin's Outlander costume into it and we won. So they gave me $100 gift card to use in their store. So I got the fabric and I used the whole gift card to get a bunch of stuff from them. So thankfully that took a chunk of the cost out of this.
Yeah, I love this fabric. So this fabric's from Mood Fabrics?
Yes.
And the appliques as well?
Yes, and the appliques.
Okay. So if anybody doesn't know who the Goblin King, it's the David Bowie character on the right here. And so I just put this picture in, and then I've got, this is your mock-up that you did of it.
Yeah, this is a mock-up. Correct? And for this mock-up, I'm using fabric that I got on the clearance table at a fabric store for like $1 a yard. Mm-hmm. So I bought a bolt of it because this fabric does not have stretch to it. So when you're doing a mock-up on something like this, that's a more structured piece, you want to make sure if you're using muslin has a lot of stretch to it. And even though that's the fabric that a lot of people use, finding something like in the home decor section that's on clearance is a good thing to use for mock-ups like this so that you know that the fit is going to be a lot more accurate because it's got some weight to it.
Oh, sorry. Cindy's asking the cost of the wigs. So maybe one of the wigs would be. I guess it depends.
It really does depend. It depends on if you're getting a human hair wig, if you're getting synthetic, if you're getting it fully, if it's only like a part, if it's an existing wig that they're just doing a partial of fixing the front of it to match your hairline, whether it's completely hand tied, there's a lot of variables in that. Mm-hmm. And the project too, like all the projects vary too. So I would say on the very low side, probably starting at like 400 and going up from there.
Yeah. Yeah. Because if it's hand knotted, it's going to be very pricey.
The thing is that you can do a payment plan and you can do very small increments on things like that. So, you know, if you feel like it's something you want to do, but it's not within your budget to pay all at once, you can split it out for like a whole year if you need to, and do it in much smaller chunks. So you know, it's a little more attainable.
Yeah, absolutely. And now I haven't seen your wig yet. You're probably waiting for that to surprise everybody with that.
Monday, actually.
Yeah, it's amazing. So guys, here's a sort of a work in progress. Yeah. It has actually, the design is sort of like early, like 1800s sort of thing.
Yeah, it's sort of Regency based. So yeah, that actually, yeah. So it's nice because now I have this mock-up too, so that if I ever want to do something that's like more the Jane Austen style that I think of, I can use that mock-up to make another coat for him.
I can just zoom in a bit, guys, if you can see it. So it's a really fascinating, interesting, like brocade. It's kind of, I don't know, it doesn't really have any specific design, I don't think.
No, it doesn't. And it's got metallic woven into it. Okay. Oh, Lord. So yeah,
this is the fun part about live streaming there,
oh,
Natasha.
Yeah,
you never know what will happen.
I know what it is. It's my husband is fooling with our electric. He's installing something.
Oh, okay.
And,
well, I had the smoke detector going off earlier, so you know,
yeah,
we had that issue. And then here, this looks like when you're just sort of getting in the progress of putting all the bits on.
Exactly. That's just the beginning stages of it. So,
so we'll have to wait to see, you know, the pictures. I'm so excited. Can't wait to see you in this.
Yeah. Not me, Dustin.
Oh, Dustin's wearing this. What are you wearing? Are you wearing the ball? Are you wearing the fairy dress that you have behind you?
No, I want to dedicate time to do that, and it's a big project. So that's another one that, you know, I want to take my time and budget for it and do it. So
yeah, but you were making a fairy dress that was on your website.
Yeah,
it's behind you there.
Yeah, that's just a like my own design thing. We're going to a masquerade ball that they have off-site from Dragon Con. And they're doing a big dark crystal theme. So even though, so just fantasy in general, costumes are very much welcome there. So that'll be fun. So that's what we're going to wear these two.
That's awesome. Okay. So let's just finish this then. Okay. So then all right. So I went to your Facebook and I just took a bunch of different, costumes. You had like an assortment. So I may not know what these are. So maybe we can go through this with you then and you can tell us. Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right. So actually, I really love this one. So it's amazing. It's sort of a bit of a gender bender.
Yeah. So I love 18th century dandies or fops, they call them. And I really, really love the embroidered suits from then. So I wanted to do something like that because my sister and I were going to Carnival in Venice in Italy.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to go to the costume parties there and do all like the costume events. So I actually made this for her to wear because I have a coordinating pink 18th century dress that goes with it.
Oh yeah, I have a picture of that. Here.
There, that's us in Venice.
Yeah, that's amazing. One of the things that's so great is you get to travel so much.
Yeah, so Dustin travels a lot for his job. So oftentimes I'll go visit him when he's somewhere if I can get off from work. So that helps a lot.
All right, so let me go back to it though. Actually, I had the close up here. So did you use a pattern for this?
Yes, I altered an 18th century men's pattern. I had to alter it considerably to fit me because I am only 5'2". So I'm a lot more petite than most men's size patterns. So I altered it heavily. And
was that American Duchess?
No, I think it was just some colonial simplicity pattern.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool.
I do a lot of that. I hack a lot of commercial patterns.
Yeah, no, one thing I think this is you actually that I read. So one of the things that happens when you buy like Simplicity or McCall's or something is they might do like sort of weird shortcuts on them that you have to then, like you say, hack them.
Yeah.
Do you find that sometimes difficult, or what's that sort of process like?
That's why the mock-ups come into play so much, so that I can figure out how I'm going to do it. Because yeah, it can be really different than what they're presenting you there. But I understand how garments go together, so it makes it a lot easier for me to determine how I'm going to fix them.
Yeah, as opposed to someone who hasn't done this before and they're going to take a pattern, you know, and try and to alter it. If you've never done that before, it's going to be pretty challenging.
Yeah, that's why I'm always trying to tell people who are just starting out, you have to do the mock-ups, because a lot of people just want to cut to the chase and cut their fabric and hope for the best. But if you take your time with it, you're gonna, you're not gonna hate everything as much, because you're gonna get real frustrated otherwise. Yeah.
Now, in terms of the photos here, where did you guys take these pictures? Looks like in a garden or something.
Yeah, this is botanical gardens. This is Longwood Gardens. We have one of the world's best botanical gardens about an hour from my house. It is absolutely an amazing place. I've gone here multiple times in different costumes to do photos.
I guess people for weddings probably go there.
Yeah, exactly. They hold weddings there. It's an immense place. They've got a lot of different kinds of gardens, so it's really nice. And people are very nice to you there too when you come.
That's awesome. Is this you or is this your sister?
No, this is me.
That's okay. Me. Yeah. And then now, what about your little hat? I love that.
Yeah, it's just like a little mini tricorn I got online, and then I added more feathers to it.
And
Yeah.
the wig is you got that from the custom company?
Yeah, so I don't own this wig. They also do rentals.
Oh,
So
okay.
rent a wig for a fancy event that you might have. So that is an option too. So if you have something you need, want to rent something, you can inquire with them about their rental program. I did not know that I was really going to need a pink wig that often, so I rented this from them.
Does it have a little queue at the back, like a little like bow or anything?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it's got a little ponytail.
Yeah, it's really beautiful. I love it.
I love this wig.
And then, but this wig now, your sister's wearing a different wig here, I guess.
No, that's actually the same wig, but they they restyled it differently.
Sure. So okay. And then
style.
you're wearing sort of like what's the period here? Is this 1750s sort of period or?
I don't know.
But that was their wig as well. Did you rent that one or did you?
Yeah. So this one was rented too. But they actually made it to my hairline, but they use it for a lot of, like, they've used it in theater productions and different things too. But this is actually the same wig that is the Queen Elizabeth wig that I wear.
Oh yeah. And is this the same stole? Like the first stole?
No, it's a different one.
Oh, it is a different one. Okay.
But that's the same wig. They just restyle it.
That's amazing.
Like, they used it I think they used it in The Importance of Being Earnest or something. And they used it in Edwardian style. So they restyle it for different things that they rent it out for.
So they do theatrical productions or?
Yeah, they do theatrical productions. They do reenactors. They do people who are professional historical actors. Like they do George Washington here in Philadelphia and various different.
Golf Princess says, I love Longwood Gardens.
Yes.
Yes. Golf Princess, I think you're from South Carolina, aren't you? I thought she's a golfer. That's where everyone goes to golf, I think, is South Carolina. So here's a really nice picture of it, too. And then you got all the plumes and the flowers and everything.
I made a piece, like a floral piece to add into the wig. And it was fun.
It's so nice. So how was it making this dress, this gown?
This is actually made by a friend of mine. I didn't make this.
Oh, okay.
I added the bows to it, and I added a few different things to bling it up a little bit more. But a friend of mine made this. She lent it to me for something and then decided she didn't want to wear pink anymore and sold it to me. And then she had a whole bunch of extra of the fabric and gave it to me with the dress. And that's what I made the suit out of.
You're kidding. So they match. That's amazing.
Yeah, exactly. So I made the whole suit, but I didn't make the dress.
Now, did you use a bunch of appliques like for all of the gold?
This was a big piece of fabric that was like an embroidered netted piece. So I cut it all up into the shapes I wanted to make appliques. And I used heat and bond to attach it to it. So it went on real easily. Okay.
We have this stuff called stitch witchery. I think, is that similar? Like, is it like a fusing, like a
fusible type of
fusible stuff? Yeah. So Golf Princess says, I used to live in Delaware. That's what she's saying.
Oh, okay.
And now, is this in Venice?
Yeah, this is in Venice.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. It was really crowded, though. I'm glad I did it, but I don't need to go back.
Oh, really? Like it's touristy?
It was, very touristy, and Carnival is just jam-packed with people. So.
Yeah, I can just imagine. Have you ever been to New Orleans?
I have not.
New Orleans?
Yeah. You
got to go there.
Yeah.
That's like the place to be, apparently, during Carnival. Okay, so this one here. Oh, you're so cute here. Look at you. I don't have a color picture of you in this. I think this is
it's all white work. So yeah, that's my sister in the white, like in the other picture.
Oh, okay. So are you wearing the same dresses that she's wearing, or is it different?
Different dress.
Now I love this dress that you're wearing on the right. I have a color picture of you. This is sort of a tinted one of it. It's got. So did you make this?
I didn't make this. This was most of the stuff that I wear that is like 1920s and more modern than that is vintage finds. My sister is really, really good at finding great vintage pieces for cheap. She's like the best person to go shopping with. If you want to go to thrift shops, to vintage shops, she can find all the best stuff. So she found me this dress in a vintage shop. That's 1920s style.
It's beautiful. That's one of the things Sheila and I were talking about. If you want to get into doing cosplay and you don't sew, that's actually a really great way to start is, either doing vintage pieces or, like you say, you can purchase a costume from another cosplayer. They sometimes sell them at a reduced cost if they've already worn it or whatever. Like I noticed that a lot on some of the groups that I'm on Facebook. So, or you can do something like she was showing me. She did a pic. They did these costumes from Battlestar Galactica, and she just was able to find pretty much everything online. So it's a good way to get into it, I think. Oh, sorry. Inez says, oh, hello from Madrid, or hi from Madrid. Oh, that's so nice. Love your channel. Oh, that's so nice. And then Golf Princess says, go to New Orleans for Easter. It's not as crowded, but you get Easter parades. That's a great idea.
They have a huge vintage Easter parade in New York City I always want to go to, too.
Oh, yeah?
Really big thing. So I want to do that eventually as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love this one here.
Yeah, this was
fun. That your sister, too?
Yeah, that's my sister. She has a vintage blog, which is really good, called Edda Nouveau.
Okay.
Everybody should check her out.
Okay, I'll get the link for that, and then we'll put that below. So I love yeah, this is sort of like 40s, I guess.
Yeah, we went to a 1940s World War II reenactment, so that was fun.
Now this is amazing. Where is this?
After that World War II reenactment, they have a whole setup that's all period stuff. It was really, really fun.
That is so awesome.
Yeah.
And now, where did she get you this outfit that you're wearing here?
Yeah, she sourced it, found that she probably paid like $2 for it, knowing her.
So there you go. So you don't have to have a lot of money necessarily. You're resourceful,
be diligent, do research.
And you could wear that. You could wear that any day. You don't even have to wear that for this is you with the sweater on, but without the sweater, it's got these cute little cap sleeves.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's see if I can zoom in a bit. I love the plane there. There you guys are. Yeah. Now, is that your own hair and then you just curled it?
Yeah. Absolutely.
So cute.
Yeah,
and then yeah, you had these photos are amazing.
Yeah.
So here, oh, look how cute you are here.
Yeah.
How old is this?
This is from probably 2011, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I did not make that. That's from Anovos. They have a license for replica stuff. So yeah, that's okay.
I just grabbed that from Facebook. I thought it was fun because I put it in there. And what about this? What about these costumes here?
This is from Parks and Recreation.
Oh, that's what's going on. Okay. I was like, what is it? But you're sitting on the Game of Thrones.
Yeah. We were sitting on the Iron Throne. This is a really fun joke costume.
Yeah.
We had a blast.
Yeah. That's so fun. Okay, now I found this on your blog yesterday, on your Facebook yesterday, and I was like, oh my God. So this is, of course, the Hunger Games.
Yes.
And an amazing wig.
Yeah, that's fun. That's a wig. I can't even remember who I bought that from. Somebody styled it for me years ago. Yeah. And I had to look really hard to find this fabric for this dress, but that's the accurate fabric.
It's amazing. Oh, really? It is? Yeah. So where did you end up finding it?
At some fabric store in LA had it. So
okay.
I found out they might have it. So I called the place and sent them a picture of what I was looking for, and they had it. So they shipped it to me.
Yeah. And then your husband's dressed as the Woody Harrelson character. What's his name?
Haymitch.
Haymitch, yes. And where'd you get your shoes?
They came off. They're knockoffs of some designer brand that I got them off of eBay, and then I had to paint them gold. So I used like a leather paint.
Yeah. Now Hamish is it blue or is it black?
Blue, and then the vest is actually it has like a plaid to it as well.
Yeah. Because again, it had sort of like Effie's outfit sort of got that she's sort of 18th century a bit with the little cupid lips and the wig and everything, and then his looks almost like his vest again looks sort of Regency.
Yeah, I think it's more like Victorian.
Oh, is it Victorian?
Yeah.
So what did you use for a pattern for that?
Well, I didn't make his costume. A friend
of
a really, really experienced men's tailor. He goes by Nerd Tailor online. He made it, and he's worked in like a lot of theater and TV and stuff. So he understands men's tailoring much better than I ever could. Yeah. And back when we made this, I did not feel confident enough to do a lot of men's structured tailoring. I feel better about it now. Yeah. Especially after this experience you just had. Yeah. So yeah, exactly. So I had him make it at that point. That's great. Now this one, I just love this so much. I mean, I knew right away. If anybody watches The Walking Dead, you would know this right away. Now, did you print the label on the? No, I didn't. I don't think it's actually accurate. I don't. Oh, okay. It is just the only variety of
Where did you find like an industrial can of chocolate pudding though?
Grocery store had it. But yeah, that was pretty gross. I had pudding like all over my shirt by the end of the night. All like was pudding. Everybody wanted to eat it, and I wouldn't let them.
Yeah, and then you had to put some you had some like scratches and stuff on your food.
Like fake blood, fake dirt on me. Very grimy.
Yeah. Were people yelling at you to get in the house?
Oh my God, constantly. After you've heard it about 3,000 times, you're like, all right, I'm done.
Yeah. No, I know. So now you were saying that it's funny because a lot of my other fandom friends, you know, have stopped watching The Walking Dead. So you got to the point where you're like, I've stopped watching.
Yeah, I'm done with it. I feel like it's murder porn.
It is.
I can't do it anymore.
My husband was so mad about it. Like he got to the point, like I actually went farther than him. He got to the point where he was like, oh my God, I can't even watch this anymore. How can you watch this? But I did. I stuck in there for a while with Negan. And then I just got to the point where I couldn't do it. So I think they've lost a lot of fans now.
Yeah, I think so.
So what's going on with this picture here?
So this is about 30 seconds from my house. There's an old train bridge that's abandoned now. And so my friends were all up for the weekend visiting, and we all do a Walking Dead group together, or we used to anyway. So we said, let's go do a photo shoot. So we all got dirtied up and fake blood and went and did this fun photo shoot.
That's so fun. And then that's you in the back with your pudding. Yeah. Is this after the pudding? Is this after the event you did with the pudding, or so you still have all the dirt on it?
Time.
And then this is your husband dressed as Daryl here.
Yeah. Well, you can only see the back of him, but
how did you do the vest?
Yeah. He got like the real vest or whatever, like the type they use in the show, and then I cut the pieces out of white denim and aged them like crazy, and I think I just drew it on with a Sharpie.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's so cool. And he's wearing a wig, obviously. And you're both wearing wigs. Yeah. Okay, so the last picture I have is this, which is so awesome. I've got my first troll in the chat. This is,
oh boy,
that's really crazy. I've never had that before. That's really weird. I don't have a moderator here today, so that's sort of odd. So this is you're in front of the DeLorean. Where is this? Where are you?
This, I think, was a convention in Philadelphia. I think it might be Wizard World. I don't know. That's from probably 2010, maybe. Yeah. But the whole outfit is just thrift store finds.
Well, the vest is really good. It's pretty close.
Yeah, it is pretty good. I mean, so the outfit is not 100% accurate for sure, but it's pretty good for dirt cheap. I probably spent $10 on this whole outfit.
Yeah. What about the running shoes? Those are just Nikes you had, or?
No, they're just some old pair of Nikes that I found. Oh. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's pretty good. I think that's pretty good. And is that your own hair?
That was my hair. I used to have short hair. Yeah.
Wow. Well, okay, so that's all we've got, guys. What do you think? That was quite a bit. Well, oh my gosh, Natasha, it's so amazing.
That we didn't even cover.
No, I know. Well, it's funny because I went through your Facebook and your Instagram and everything, and I grabbed a bunch of stuff, and I'm like, I'm sure I missed a bunch, but so I was just going to go in here quickly and see if anybody's what they're saying. Now, Cindy says, looks like something from the mask in Labyrinth. What does she mean by that? Looks like something from the mask. I'm not sure what she means about that. Oh, and then also, Cindy, what are you talking about? She says Gatsby. She does these one-word sentences, so I'm not sure what she's talking about. Golf Princess said so cute about one of your costumes. I'm not sure which one. Here is Marietta's blog. Oh, sorry, who's Marietta again? Is that your sister?
That's my sister, yeah.
Oh, okay. You know what, Jennifer, if you tried to put it in the chat, it might not let you because I think that I don't know. I don't think it lets you. So maybe I'll just get that from Natasha. And she says Etta Nouveau on Weebly. Okay. Angela Lover says, I've given up on The Walking Dead too. I don't want to watch Rick die. Yeah, well, he's leaving this series, so we don't know what's going to happen there, right, guys? Yep. Let me go off myself here. Okay. Sergio says, I love your glasses. Do you mean mine? Thank you. They're from. I need your glasses. And then Golf Princess is another fantastic live stream. I will give you everything. I don't know what he's talking about. Oh, and my son is in the chat. That's so nice. He says, hi, mommy. That's really nice. He's probably ready to go to bed soon. So Natasha, so I know you're going to Dragon Con. What else have you got coming up? Or tell me a bit about Dragon Con. What's going to happen with that?
So I have, I think, about 7 costumes for Dragon Con. So
oh my
yeah.
God.
But,
like, how many days is it?
Well, it doesn't technically start until Thursday, but people start costuming on Wednesday there. They like try to extend it longer and longer every year, which is fine by me because it's my absolute favorite weekend of the whole year. So we'll start on Wednesday night and then be done by Sunday night and then leave on Monday. So
okay. So you wear a different one each day, but then sometimes in the evening you'll change as well?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Stuff goes on there. You could pretty much be active 24/7 there with events and different things to do if you wanted to.
That sounds like so much fun.
It's such a great time. So yeah.
And then besides that, what do you have coming up? What are you working on?
I guess I have fall is pretty busy with events. I have an Oktoberfest that I have a dirndl, German dirndl I'll wear to that. Mm-hmm. There's a convention in Philly I might do a day of, so I might break out some Star Wars stuff for that. Maybe New York Comic Con for a day in October. We have like a Harry Potter Wizard Festival that I helped at. I help coordinate that. That's coming up in October. So yeah, I've got a lot of stuff coming up.
So, and then in terms of like costumes in the long term, is there anything that you're going to be working on that you're kind of excited to get going with?
Yeah, I need to do that Outlander wedding dress.
Yeah.
So it started on that at some point.
So you've got all the materials. Sounds like you're kind of
on that stuff for a long time. I'm kind of scared to start it. It's I want to do it justice and I'm nervous about it. So I haven't started it so long. And I want to do that labyrinth dress, the Sarah ball gown at some point too. So
yeah. And one thing that I thought was really, really interesting is you shared that, the behind the scenes of that. And it was actually choreographed by the doctor from Star Trek Next Generation. Was that you that shared that?
Yeah, it was. They were showing how they choreographed the whole ball gowns or the ballroom scene, and
I had no idea that she was a choreographer. Yeah, that was a very cool little tidbit of information.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you so much for coming on today. I've been wanting to have you on. One of the things one of the things you and I had talked about on Facebook is you were trying to emphasize that. If you want to sew or you want to get into cosplay, this is something that you can develop. You can build your skill. You don't have to have an innate talent for it necessarily. So you're sort of encouraging people, if they've never done this before, to kind of like a real cheerleader for this, I think.
Yeah, I don't like when people tell me, oh, you have a gift. I could never do that. It's not a gift. Built my skills. I may have like some artistic design ability, but they are basically skills that you could build. The only thing holding you back from doing it is your own drive. If you put the effort into building your skills, into learning, there's so many resources out there for you. It's so many people willing to help you get started. You can do it. You have to have the drive, but you can budget things for cheaply if you need to. Like, there's a lot of different ways to make it happen.
Yeah, I've got a couple of like young people who watch the channel, and I'm always really amazed. Like, they'll send me their pictures, their progress that they're, something they're working on. And I'm always like, I'm just blown away by it. Like I'm always like, and then a couple of them that I've had now for a few years, like I can see the development of their work as they go along. And I'm just really, proud to see them growing as, creators and artists, and I think that's one of the reasons why costumes are considered maybe more of a craft as opposed to an art form. Like, they are artistic in some ways, but like you say, there's a lot of technique that's involved, and once you learn those techniques, I think this is what happened with me when I first started. I would get very frustrated. I think you were saying that too, because I didn't know how to do something. And then when I finally learned how to do it, I'm like, oh my God, you know, now that I know how to do this, this is so much easier. I wish someone had taught me this before. Yes. So like you say, I think as you build up your technique, you build up your skill set, you're able to take on more challenging projects. So I think what I was sort of saying to you is I've had people who have been like, I think it's probably more what you're talking about. It's more that they're just like, oh, I can't do this.
Yeah.
You know, and they just
tell me it's a gift.
Yeah.
When people tell me it's a gift or it's talent, I feel like that negates the many, many years that I've had to work really hard to learn the skills that I have. So I don't think it's just that. I think it is a lot of hard work.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you can see, I mean, you can see the work and the dedication that you put into it, because I mean, honestly, like, I mean, it's like anything. You could be, you know, after, you know, come home from work and, you know, watch TV or do something, you know, read a book or whatever, but you obviously have decided this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take my spare time and put it into something and, you know, develop it. And then you have, hopefully you feel at the end that it's really rewarding and you've, you know, you've gotten a huge benefit from it.
Yeah, it is. I've met so many people. I've my best friends I've met through costuming. So it's been really rewarding in that way. And I'm trying to invest more money in good photography at this point so that I can look back when I'm 80 and go, oh my gosh, look how good we looked then. I have real photos to show off, because I used to just have a lot of convention photos and they were never very good quality. So I'm trying to build up a more photographic inventory or portfolio of my stuff and investing in good photographers.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I just want to thank you so much. I mean, you've taken a huge amount of time out of your evening to come on here, and I've wanted to have you on for a long time, and I really appreciate it. And everyone who came into the chat as well, I want to thank you. Normally I have 2 moderators, but no, neither of them are here. So thank you guys so much for coming and sharing with us. And then so Natasha, this will be on a replay as well. So if anybody want to share this, and you guys want to share this with anybody, they will be able to watch it. It just takes, I think, YouTube like an hour or so to kind of like, I don't know what the word is for it. So, and I was just going to tell you guys, I'm not going to be here next week because I have to cancel next week's live stream. I have another engagement, but I'll be back the following week. And then the following week, I'm going to Fan Expo in Toronto and what I'm going to do, Natasha, is I'm bringing my camera down and I'm going to go around interviewing cosplayers. So it's going to be really fun. I'm hoping to see some really great costumes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm not dressing up myself, but we're going to go down, and it's a 3-day event here in Toronto. It's on our long weekend, so it's Canada's biggest event. So hopefully I'll get to see some really amazing costumes, and I'll get to share that with you guys later. So thanks so much, Natasha. Thanks everyone who came by, and I hope everyone has a lovely Saturday.
Bye.
Bye.